Alright guys, it's Cosmo the Coder here and welcome to another Humble Monthly Review video. It's April 2016. Gosh, this year's going fast. Seriously, it was only like yesterday I felt like it was Christmas. So we've gone past the first Friday of April and Humble have given us a new bundle. So I'm going to get rid of this and this and go straight in with our first game, which is Nuclear Throne. Now, Nuclear Throne is a roguelike action shooter where you play a monster that is currently living on the planet where humanity is now extinct and various mutants and monsters now roam the world. You need to collect weapons and utilize them to fight your way through the wastelands, collecting radiation to mutate some new limbs and abilities, basically like leveling up. It's an RPG-esque kind of game, but you have to sort of imagine a sort of cross between Don't Starve and FTL. The reason for FTL is because you get one life. Everything you have to do in the game, you have one life to do. When you die, you lose everything and have to start all over again. That's probably one of the biggest criticisms about the game at the moment, in the sense that it's quite hard to actually finish the game. But other than that, it's got some overwhelmingly good reviews. It's $8.99 on Steam, definitely worth a good check out, and I'm going to actually add it to my list of Cosmo Tries Games for whenever I get around to actually playing through all of the ones that are actually on the list already. Next up we have a game that's a little different, still a bit of an RPG, called Renowned Explorers. Now this is by the same people that made, I'm going to get the name wrong, Reyes, which was like a god sim game, sort of like a two-dimensional black and white. This one's a bit more grander in scale. It's more of a sort of, you basically choose a character or a couple of characters, and your group explores the world different for treasure and going on small expeditions around searching for different adventures and different kind of different kind of adventures, different kind of challenges. You explore the world, taking on natives that don't really want you there, and finding all kinds of interesting and different things. It's actually on sale on Steam right now, so it's a little over £10, and it's got turn-based combat. It's pretty much everything I can tell you. It's got some good reviews, definitely worth a check out if you fancy any aspects of that kind of game. Moving straight along, we've got a game called Nova 111 or Nova 111. A little bit of an odd one, this one. You basically pilot a trusty little orange vessel, and you're traveling through different planets searching for scientists, because you need to fix what's happened to space-time after a great experiment goes a bit wrong. Doesn't always. You basically have the ability to manipulate time, and you have to utilize it to solve puzzles, take on enemies, as you can pretty much see in the video behind me. It's a puzzle game with time travel aspects. It's got some good reviews on Steam. It's $10.99, so price-wise, it might be worth a good look at if any aspect of that game interests you. The Magic Circle is, well, this one's a bit of a weird one, and I'll try and explain why it's a weird one. It's $14.99 on Steam, and it's basically you play a character, or the protagonist if you want, in an unfinished first-person fantasy game, where basically the designers have given you basically you've got powers to change the game code to however or whatever you want. In a sense, you're able to go into this rather strange looking world, as you can see by this video, and change all different aspects of the game to your advantage, or even in certain cases your disadvantage. The idea is to sort of either try and finish the game or completely destroy it. You're able to recode it as you want, so you can arm enemies with different guns. I think you can arm like butterflies with rail guns, you can turn turtles into teleporters, or with floating platforms in order to aid you in solving puzzles. It's got some really good reviews. It's probably, if any part of it sort of appeals to you, so I can't think of the word then, completely went out of my head. If any part of it appeals to you, then that definitely is worth a look at. Its reviews are good, by all means check it out, and even better, just check out the trailer. As you can see, all you can see is just the video, but it looks weird, it looks interesting, and even sounds even more interesting from just the trailer. Super Avalanche. Now this trailer is a bit weird, and you're probably wondering why is there a guy behind him talking to the video. Super Avalanche is basically a game about you playing as a marshmallow, and the idea is that you jump on blocks as they fall from the sky, because you're not allowed to touch the floor, which is of course lava. It's $6.99 on Steam. It's as simple as it sounds. It's basically a 2D action platformer where you have to keep going to the top. You can level up your character, getting new abilities. There's plenty of achievements, so there's plenty of interesting things to do. There's bosses, and there's even local co-op, I believe. I'm not sure about, I can't remember if they had actually online co-op, but generally speaking, it's got goodish reviews. It's one of those games that you can sort of pick up and play whenever you really feel like it. Now, this was mentioned in last month's video, South Park, The Stick of Truth. Now, it's got some fantastic reviews about this game, and this is purely because it is an excellent kind of game. It's an RPG-esque game where you basically play a character that you create, and you get to explore the entire world that is South Park. It plays exactly how an episode of South Park would play, in that the graphics look exactly like the cartoon. It's got all the references, it's got all the humour, it's got all the violence, it's got all the rudeness and disgusting fart jokes that you could ever possibly want from an episode of South Park. I have played it all the way through. It's loads of fun. If you're a big fan of South Park, you will love it. If you, like me, watched South Park at the beginning and sort of fell out of it, some of the references you'll miss, but you'll still recognise things like Mr. Hanky, the Underpant Gnomes, seeing the main characters and Stan and Kenny and all that. All of that's in there, and you've also obviously got to take on the true enemy, which is of course Nazi zombies. It's always Nazi zombies. It's $23.99 on Steam. It's definitely worth a look if you sorry, indigestion. It's definitely worth a good look if you're into RPGs at all, and just to warn you, it is extremely adult. You will if you haven't already seen a playthrough of it, when you watch it you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so definitely worth a good look. Next up we have a game that was also shown last month, but I didn't know much about it, so I couldn't really give you much of an opinion of it. This War of Mine. Now, this War of Mine is an extremely sort of, I suppose, the actual art style of the graphics is incredibly, well, as you can see for me, incredibly gothic looking, dark, sinister, that kind of thing. It's extremely well reviewed. It's $14.99 on Steam. It's basically a 2D survival simulation game where instead of playing a load of soldiers or fully trained people, you play a group of civilians trying to survive a war-torn world. The art style, as you can see, looks absolutely amazing. It's got some fantastic reviews on Steam, and essentially it's a procedurally generated simulation. You basically, by day, you have to protect the people that you have in there. After you choose a few characters. Each one has some good bits, some bad bits, and you basically take them out and try and survive for as long as you possibly can until a ceasefire is called. Now that's actually a random amount of time. From what I understand, there's not much wrong with this game at all. It's actually going to be the game I play as soon as I finish this video. So definitely worth a good look at. And if you're interested in what I actually think of the game, check out my channel in a few days and I'll let you know. Now, now we move straight on to the Humble Originals game. Now, as you may or may not know, Humble are now trying to commission certain games for their bundles that are sort of games that are only just sort of smallish games that no one has played so far. In this one, we've got a game called Tailwind Prologue, which I actually try and play the YouTube video if it'll let me. It does actually. Hey, so the game is basically you are the last survivor of an alien invasion that has all but destroyed your planet, but you only just about escaped the atmosphere. But you also realise that you haven't got enough fuel to survive. So rather than just sort of give up and die, you decide, you know what, I'm going to take as many of them with you and blow them all to hell. It looks like a sort of one of those bullet hell on space games. Whether it's any good or not, I can't tell you, obviously, because I haven't played it. But maybe I will later at some point. But then I said that about every other Humble original game that I've looked at. and I haven't so far. And, ooh, I'm going all sparkly because of my jumper. Thanks, green screen. Finally, our final game in this bundle is Stickbold. Now, Stickbold has only recently come on Steam. It is currently on sale for 20% off. $6.99. It's also $6.39. And what's I can say? It's a 70s themed dodgeball game where I suppose it's sort of the Bomberman-esque arena games where you basically use the dodgeball to take out your opponents, and pretty much that's all I can say. It's only recently come out, so the reviews have sort of started off mixed but jumped to quite positive. It's going to be one of those games that you sort of have to want to enjoy their quirkiness. It's got single and local multiplayer, so it's one of those games where if you like playing those kind of battle games, definitely worth a good look at, just to see what you're coming up with. Moving straight on to the final part then. So the early unlock for next month's bundle is Mad Max. Now, Mad Max, the game, is completely different from Mad Max the movie. It's not related in any other way other than the fact it is Mad Max. The story-wise, it's completely different. So I'm not going to actually ruin the story for you. I'm just telling you it's different. I actually forgot to look at how much it is on Steam, but other than that, all I can say is it's made by the same people who made Just Cause. It's got some good reviews. Part of its problem is apparently it's very slow to start. It's not necessarily the story gets good more in the second half of the game. It's sort of a more what's it called? Sandbox, that's it, sorry. And a sort of sandboxy RPG-esque game, which Avalanche Studios, who made Just Cause, aren't that well known for doing it, so they were a bit sort of in unfamiliar territory, but apparently they did a fairly good job. It's quite enjoyable. I'm not going to be paying early for it, I never do, because I've got too many other games to play, but it's definitely one I will be looking at and reviewing properly when I look up the price next month. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you as always for watching, and please do like and subscribe for more stuff from me. If you do decide to dislike, then by all means please let me know why, because then I can always improve things. Let me know what you think in the comment section. But until then, until next month, I hope you've enjoyed my little review video, and I will see you next time for another review.